I will open the meeting then at 4:03 or whatever it is that I have, 4:02. And let me just go through the agenda, which you have on the handouts that were sent to you. That we have the minutes of the last, the June 11th meeting to review. And then the fiscal 25 year-end budget review. Then an up-to-date budget review for this year, fiscal 26. And Kathy sent an update of that since we had postponed the meeting a month. So there's more up-to-date information as of, I think, October 8. And then a discussion again about the Weir River water consumption revenue update. And then as usual, a projects update from John or Tom will give that information, I guess. And any other new business. Is there any other item that people want to add to the agenda?
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't have so. I don't
Okay.
think so.
Well, it's always like new business at the end anyway, if something comes up.
Right.
Anyway, so if you had a chance to review the minutes of the June 11th meeting, I had done that. And are there any comments or corrections or questions about that meeting minutes?
Rick, I
Yeah.
only have a brief question to
Yes.
ask, because I was not in attendance at the June meeting.
Right.
The subject project updates from John there was a discussion of the regionalization project. Could we return to that at the end of our agenda today?
Sure. Yep.
I can ask a question.
Yep. I'll just put that because there is some information about that, as I recall, but okay, I'll add it to that at the end. Thank you. So with that, I'll entertain a motion for acceptance of the minutes.
I so move. Peter?
Second,
Second.
okay, and all those in favor say aye, or raise your
Aye.
hand, whichever,
Aye.
both the appropriate. Approved. So the next item is the fiscal 25 year-end budget, and we have that from the handout that was sent to us. So this is the year ending last June. And it shows that at that point, 85% of the total budget was expended. And I don't know if there's any other anything else about that, Kathy. So as usual, that any money left over then gets rolled into 2026.
I have to say, can you guys hear me at all? Because I'm
Yes.
having a problem
Yes.
even
Yes.
like dialing
No,
in
no.
right now.
Yeah,
So-
we can
Yeah,
hear you better
no,
than we did before.
Okay, thank God. Okay, so I'm like, how could it happen to me? No, yeah, so we had a little bit left over, and we put it into our retained earnings. The
Right.
town had redone some policies with the new town manager and the new assistant town manager. So the new financial policy has a mandate that we have to have at least 15% of whatever we budget. So we're budgeting like 7 mil next year. You have to have at least 15% in retained earnings at the same time.
Right.
That's just in case something happens, they want to make sure that you're going to be covered in that
Right.
area.
So it's
And-
like a buffer, basically.
Yes.
Right.
Yep. So that's where the money is. So any money that we got, we were very cautious because of the problems the year before.
Right.
So because of that, we did have some money left over, and we were allowed to put that into the retained earnings for last
Okay.
year.
Okay.
And
Kathy, I have
any-
a quick question about that.
Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
Peter.
In your write-up, you indicate that with the transfer of monies into the reserve, you have a 21.6% instead of 15. Are we
Yep.
estimating new projects, or is this
It was just the,
prudence?
so because we were cautious, we had money to put into retained earnings. We have to keep 15%. It ended up being 21%. Do you know, like our mandate is we have to have at least 15.
Right.
We had gone a lot lower due to the revenue issue with the readings a couple years
Right.
ago. So I
Right.
think that's kind of why the policy was installed. And so now we have 21. It's not anything we planned. We put it in there and we're kind of just going to be cautious, see how it goes this year with our revenue intake. And then perhaps we might be able to use it towards some of the projects that need to get done.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
anything we use in retained earnings, we do have to bring it before town meeting. It does have to be approved by at town meeting. We would have to ask for the use of it and explain why we would want to use that. So if we wanted to do a project, we'd have to do a write-up, but it would have to be brought before the advisory board first and then at town meeting for the people to approve it.
I
Okay,
had a couple of other questions about the expenditure budget for year-end 25. And one thing that sort of stood out for me was the electricity bill was substantially lower than we had budgeted. Is there a reason for that?
Nope, just we used less. But I
I don't know how that works.
How
How would you?
Did we
it's
take,
John, we can't hear you. I think you're having the same problem I did.
No, I wonder now. This is Tom, but maybe some of that is due to the last project we had going on with the upgrades at the plant. You know, we were on bypass for a good duration, and maybe that could have resulted in some of the decreased electrical costs, and that might be part of it.
Okay. The next question was about professional
on.
technical.
Hold on, Peter. John is giving the explanation. We just can't hear you, John.
can't hear you.
I had the same issue. Okay, well. Hold on a second. John, we can't hear you.
so Peter, what line item was that you were talking about?
The professional technical, which is 135,000 less than expected, and I was wondering if those
Oh,
consultants, or I don't understand.
so yeah, so
Maybe you
part of,
didn't need it.
no, part of what we budgeted for is contracts that we have with certain engineers. Specifically, one of them I know for sure is Weston and Sampson. They do our peer review. So, the OPM contract. So they oversee, we have engineers that oversee our projects and they oversee them to make sure that they're doing things correctly. It's a lot of checks and balances to make sure that we are, everything is done correctly. And so they have $120,000 contract. And we have to budget for that. They don't necessarily use it in that whole year, but we have to budget for it. And then we just bring it
Okay.
around to the other year.
So if it's
Okay.
not used, it's not used. It's an estimate as to what it's there for the whole year. So
Yes, but we have to, we do
Right.
budget for
My final question has to do with insurance. I presume this is a timing issue, where you budgeted 234,000 and paid 161, leaving 73,000. as a balance that was not needed. So I presume either that's timing or, I mean, insurance costs usually don't go down.
Nope. So what happened is last year was the year that, our insurance company that we had had for many years, decided not to insure us any longer. And, because of the construction and the work that was being done inside the building and on site. And so we did have to go out and find, we had our agent find another provider. But because of the timing of it, now we pay at a different time than we used to pay. So like, as a matter of fact, I have an invoice on the warrant for next week. And that's gonna be a predominant, I think it's over 100,000 for most of it. And then it's split. Then I'll be paying something in the spring and then something in June. So it is just the timing of it because of the new insurance provider we have.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes,
All right,
go ahead,
the,
Scott.
to continue further down into the principal, interest, and fees on borrowing. I see a slight change year over year. Is that from 1.603 to 1.611 in the budget? Have we had an increase in our interest rates? I would have expected a minor decrease. Or can you tell me more about
Are you
what's
talking
ahead.
about FY 26?
FY 26 over FY 25? There's a modest increase. It's only about
Oh,
$8,000. But
yeah, it's fees on borrowing.
well, no, I understand that's the fees, but I was referring to the actual long-term principal, that we have a slight increase. What goes into that account, and how is it affected by the and I see that interest rates have moved down substantially. Did we
So-
add to the principal, and where did that?
So that's all the debt that we've ever accumulated, and so over time. So we have bonds that we're paying off. What else am I thinking of? Then I think it's mostly all of our bonds and some
Mhm.
SRF loans. And so because they're 30 or 40 years, they go on over time. And I know the SRF has different costs.
Different
like
rates.
I think that when they start billing you, how they start billing you, I'll give you what we gave, I'll send to the sewer commission what we give to the advisory board and to the town accountant to show them our debt. And it specifically lays out line by line who it is and over years what we owe them.
That that may not be necessary. If there is I'm looking for an overview explanation. If we look just at the two line items, principal and interest, we had a substantial decrease in the amount of interest that we're paying this year, or in our budget for 26. From
Yeah.
825, we dropped to 771, which is good. And I would have expected that if there's a fluctuation in interest rates or as principal is paid down. But we have had a modest increase, very minor, but an increase in the principal. And I wasn't aware of any additional borrowings that we would have made during the year to
We didn't.
add to that principal. That's all.
Right. Yep. And what I think what I need to show you is what we show the advisory board. So it's like a
Okay.
big spreadsheet, and over time, it'll show you each year how much we owe for each one of our debt items.
All right.
And then you can see, I know you want an overview, but it's kind of hard when we're talking, I think like almost 10 to 15 that are on this list.
Okay,
Be-
Kathy, thank you. Yes, I'll
Kathy,
look for
can you
that.
hear me now?
Just,
Uh-huh.
yes,
Yeah.
Chuck.
Yes.
Any other
Okay.
questions about then the fiscal 25? Then we go on to the fiscal 26 budget, and at first that as I see, the update that Kathy sent is through October 8th, whereas the original one we had was September 11. And so I got it online rather than printed. So we've gone through 33% of the year, if you count July, August, September, and October. So if the expenses have not exceeded 33%, then we're still within the budget, or should have 67% left remaining in the budget. And I see from the list from that October 8th document, they're all well above that 67% that I see on the revenue budget. And
free dedicated senior living guidance so that we can find the best.
and then the expenditure budget, which is much more, longer and more detailed, the same thing. That we've like professional salaries, we spent 26% and we've gone through 33% of the year. On the other expenses, and I think this is because there is variability as to when these are paid, some of those big chunks of money or whatever, it says 41% has been expended, and we have and we've gone through 33% of the year. That's my interpretation of that.
I think, yeah, I
any-
think it's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, like a lot of these things are paid at different times during the year. Principal, interest, a lot of the things are paid
Right.
outright. So,
That's the timing issue.
Right.
yes.
So any other questions about those two documents?
Not for me.
Okay.
No, sir.
Then the next item is the Weir River Water Consumption Revenue Update. And I know this is something that we've been talked about each meeting. So Kathy or John want to give us, or anyone, an update as to where we are with the Weir River Water Department.
Yeah, we just got the new billing. So just on the revenue that you saw, the new updated revenue that actually had that first billing. And so it does look good for us there. It was well paid. I hate to say that, but we got most of the revenue in, so that's looking good. The new billing register was given to us. We are going to be giving it to the tax collector tomorrow. There was a slight glitch with some of the accounts that they sent over. We noticed it. They sent over a revised thing, and Mike and I have entered the accounts in, and it will be ready to go tomorrow. And we are working with them to make sure, that doesn't happen next billing register. But right now, when the billing register goes to the tax collector tomorrow, it will be set.
What was the glitch?
They were missing some accounts.
Well, that has been the problem in the past, right?
Right.
Yes.
Although in the past it was more a matter of zero metering.
Yeah,
They
this
seem
one had
to have
no
their-
readings whatsoever.
on those accounts, so they didn't have all the accounts. Where do we
Correct.
stand with the issue of zero readings on the accounts that we do have?
That, does somebody else know better? Maybe Michael can help. Michael reviews that, and
Deliverance, 1775.
Yeah, most of the non-readings have been factored back to properties that are under construction or vacant, or that they just get one reading from the water company, and we charge them just a base fee because they have the hookup.
The spectacle
So
is
that's an improvement.
It is.
So there aren't any that are, that jump out at you like a active restaurant that has a zero billing or anything like that?
No, not just looking at it right now, nothing stands out as being incorrect like that.
So any
I'm
other,
not sure who's speaking.
Yeah, I'm hearing someone, but not clearly.
I think somebody might
Right.
have a TV on. You're gonna have to mute yourself, Mike.
Maybe they can't miss a chapter from the Housewives of Hull. So they're eager to see.
Yeah, that's what we
All
need.
right. That's what we need.
Yeah, so we'll see how the next billing register, that'll come out. So your new bills will come out like at the end of November, be due in December, and then the next billing register will come out to us around February, and we'll, we have a list of what the accounts were that there was a glitch on this time, and we'll just review it and make sure that, it's up to date.
So if I can hear this correctly, you are seeing an improvement on the metering and the billing from the water company. Is that correct?
Michael says yes.
Okay.
There's no other questions, then we can move on to the projects update. I'm not sure who will give us the update on
Can
the
you hear me
projects,
now?
but
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
John, yep.
Okay. So I just had to disconnect another piece of equipment.
yeah, I
just tried,
can't
so-
hear you, John, at all.
I can.
I can hear him.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
can.
oh, okay.
Wow. Okay. Anything better, Rick?
Be first responder.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've got you.
Who's EM?
Um, I'll tell you later.
Okay. Well, whoever it is, they should mute because that's the
Yeah.
background noise we're getting.
Yeah, it's a TV.
Kathy, can you automatically mute them from your end? You should be able
I
to.
don't know, probably. Hold on a second.
Well, if you're gonna just ask whoever it is whoever's EM, please mute yourself.
Well, I think if they're actually listening, they'd probably hear us.
Well, they just did,
Um,
so. They just
okay.
did, so, okay.
Okay.
Okay, Rick, is that any better? No?
Yeah.
Guess not. Okay,
I can
so
hear you.
as far as the updates, the big news is the influent project, that has been completed. We've substantially completed. We're about to process final completion. And we've gone through all the testing. We're into startup phase. So Barletta is essentially off the site for the last couple months now. So that's the good news, and things are generally running appropriately. There's still a few glitches that we're working out, but generally things are working well. The pump station 9, that's also progressing well. We're getting to the point that we're about to start the startup and testing of the new pumps at that station. But before we do that, the electricians are finishing up their work, and the contractor has to make the connection between the existing sewer and the new sewer. We had a slight realignment change around coming into the pump station, so that's taken a little time to figure out, but we've got that worked out, and the contractor is he's gone as far as he can go essentially after this week, and we'll be waiting until we get the pumps tested. And so that might be sometime next week or the week after next when we'll be at that point. And we've discussed the testing protocol, and we'll be going through that again before we do it. But if we assume a week of that testing, hopefully it won't take that long, but there'll be things I'm sure that have to be worked out. Then if we're probably talking early December when we can put the new station online and then make the final connections to the existing sewers, and then that will be live. So that's the tentative plan, and so we should have it up and running, certainly in December, and final restoration will happen in the spring. We also in the process of converting the existing pump station into a storm drainage pump station. So we're looking into the feasibility and viability of doing that to help out the Pempinen area. And that is something that we've been looking at. And that's why we had to do the realignment change coming into the station, just to be able to accommodate that.
So John, would that mean you would have to reroute the storm drains to that location to have it?
No, there's already storm drains right there. And so we'll just have to reconnect it from the parking lot right into the old wet well.
Right.
and then it'll pump, what we have to look further into is, whether we need to get a permit to pump overboard into the bay.
Mhm.
Our thinking is there were prior outfalls that existed that have since been buried just over
Right.
time. And if those can be either be reactivated or considered as a new one with a new overflow, then that may be the way we do it. But that's going to take a little time to figure out. And so we're still working on that. And it's a matter of when the town can provide funding for the new pumps too, because it means all new pumps for a drainage pump station. So there's a little bit more effort to go into it, but we're just not whatever we're doing, not precluding that from happening in the future. So it came about as a part of a late thought during the construction, and so it's a good thought, and so we're just trying to make that work and see how viable it'll be. The other
Good
project,
idea.
yeah, the other project is the ocean outfall. Today we just mobilized again, so you may see a boat or a barge out there, and for the next number of weeks. So that is going on. We have two diffusers that will be abandoned because they're no longer usable, and then there'll be 6 other diffusers that will be cleaned and slip lined with a small diameter pipe, and that will reinstate those diffusers. And then we're going to build as part of the end cap, the terminus at the outfall, construct a new elbow coming up close to the surface and add 4 more diffusers at the end. So that will make up for the 2 lost ones and allow for 2 other reserves in the future. And then in the future, we won't have to dig down 15 feet in order to expose the end cap. We only have to dig down about 2 feet and get to this cap. So it's costing us a little bit more, take a little bit more effort at this point. However, knowing that we'll probably have to go back in the future and do inspections, this will allow that to happen and be a lot more effective and efficient at doing so. And we've spoken to the contractors that do the cleaning and inspection, and they agree that what we're doing, they'll be able to make it work with this new sweep at the end.
John, just to be clear, question.
Yeah.
When you say within 2 feet of the surface of the bottom.
Oh, the bottom, yes.
The surface of the
Yes.
water, okay.
So this will be buried under the bottom rather than 15 feet under the bottom. It'll be only 2 feet.
Got it.
That way it won't be impacted by any anchor ships or whatever, any lobster gear or anything.
Well, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, yeah,
We don't need any Russian trawlers here.
yeah, really. Then the other projects that we're planning on for next year, the phase 2 of the treatment plant upgrade. They'll include the secondary clarifier upgrades, window replacement, roof replacement, maybe, and some improvements, hopefully, to the grit handling system. And we have is developed in stages and steps so that we can add to it or delete from it based on what the bids come in at and what we have for available funding. So rather than have to stop and rebid like we had to do several years ago. So that's the plan there. And then we're doing a similar thing for the collection system. For about the $8 million that we have for that project, will be we've developed a set of plans and specifications for mostly rehabilitation using relining techniques for a lot of the collection system. This will address asbestos cement areas, cracked and deformed pipes and defective pipes, and some areas that we may have high infiltration in. So there are a couple areas that are slated to be replaced, and that will all be included as part of the contract. And again, it's set up in different steps so that we can get a good portion of it done within the available funds. And if prices come in even better, then we can do additional sections. So those products should be going out for bid later this spring, with a construction in early summer. And if we can get it sooner, all the better. And then the third item that we're dealing with, the major component, is that we're developing an RFP, a request for proposals for a contract operator. Contract has been extended with Wood and Curran has been extended for 11 years at this point. It was a 10-year contract with 5 one-year renewable extensions. We're in the first renewable year. So we're between projects for the last number of years. We've been so heavy with construction. It didn't make sense. We didn't have the capacity to deal with anything like this. Now we are at a point that we feel we can do this. I think it's a competitive time to do it in the industry. And so we're going out for requests for proposals, and Wood and Curran is still the favored. They're the incumbent, so they're always a tough one to beat. So we expect them and probably 3 other companies that have shown interest so far. And nothing has been hit the streets yet. So word is already out there that this is happening, and these other companies are also interested in learning more, visiting the plant, and talking to us before the RFP comes out. So we expect that to be out probably probably early in the year, and then we'll go through that process. There'll be a whole evaluation and selection criteria, and we expect to have that in place probably about March or April. So that we'll have a selected contractor and then have a 2 to 3 month transition period, and have this hopefully take place by July 1, if it's a new operator or if it's an extension or a new contract with Wood and Curran.
John, I had a question about updating the 5-year capital plan in terms of projects. Is that
Yes.
something that you're thinking about, or?
It's thinking about in the sense that after we do this next phase of the upgrade, or as we're doing that phase, that'll be the time to do that. Because it'll be almost 10 years at that point. And
Right.
the good thing is that we're doing just about everything that was recommended in the prior assessment and facilities plan. And so now it's just a matter of doing that up. And what we think is, I think as part of the new RFP, one of the scope of work will be to include that. We've discussed that with our consultant that's preparing this RFP and working with us on this process. And he was going to give that some thought, as far as he said many times consultants or the contractors will build that into their proposals anyway. But we're saying let's just make it as part of it. So we're waiting to have him come back and verify how that's going to be set up.
That's what I'm asking. So you're expecting to have it sometime in the spring?
Yes. We'll have a selection
Sooner than?
in the spring, and then they're going to need.
So the plan will be
whoever the
sooner?
contractor is, they're going to take some time and help in developing that plan, in updating the
Right.
plan. And
Okay.
by that point, we should also have a better understanding as far as what components of the next phase of the plant upgrade will be done. It won't be under construction,
Okay.
but it will probably be out to bid at that point, and we'll have a better sense as far as what are the components that will be included in that.
Okay, thank you.
So, Tom, is there you want to give an update on the asset management program and the other efforts you've been working on?
Yeah, so the asset management plan, they're working closely with Weston and Sampson. We've done all the inspections of the collection system, and sorry, Jordan, we had an unfortunate experience on your lateral, but Jordan's was the only one that was broken from what we saw.
Ouch.
And yeah, so that had to get fixed, unfortunately. But no, Weston Sampson, they're still working a lot behind the scenes, trying to develop the asset management system, on our GIS system, and we're incorporating our new CMMS system, Cartograph, OpenGov, as well, with that as well. And hopefully, I think in the early year we should be complete with that grant process. So, anything else, John?
I guess the only other interesting component we've recently also have been using Sewer AI. It's a
Oh.
software package and contract that we were referred to, and it appears to be very helpful and can identify defects in the pipes based on the CCTV work that we've done
Yes.
and do it a
Yeah,
lot
so that's a,
faster. Tom, you can further describe
yeah,
it.
so sorry, I wasn't thinking about that, but yeah, so that's just it's a system that that can house all our inspection videos, past and present, that we have. And moving forward, we'll be putting those into that system. And what it does, it basically, it's AI. They go, and we've kind of compared that to how we do it, how the typical procedure is, and it actually picks up on additional defects that, you know, humans really don't. So, it's a very user friendly program. It picks up on a lot of defects that, instead of us going through all these videos, and which is very time consuming, we can see it's all color coded on a map. Focuses, the red is the failure areas, all the way to green, which is, good. So it can show up on an instant of where we have to kind of put our focus going forward too. An extra check, basically.
And it follows the same guidelines for defect identification and rating based on the standard protocol in the industry if you were doing it manually, which is
So when can we expect AI to run the sewer plant?
yeah.
We wish, we hope.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Have there,
It's an interesting concept. We just keep hearing about AI in everything that we hear about it, both in our industry and in the outside world. And sometimes you have to be careful about it, but we have looked into this quite a bit and talked to others who've used it, and it does seem to be, this particular package seems to be real, and it's giving us good information so far
Yeah, we're trying
at
to
a much
we're trying to
lower cost than what we could have done if we had to do it the conventional way.
yeah, we're trying to continuously try to, cut costs where we can. And if we can eliminate some of the consultants by these programs, and all the better. So, um,
one question, have you have you noticed any surprises? Has there been any information that out of the AI that has led you to change the way the process is going to work in terms of maintaining the system?
The process, no, but the collection system, because we're only using this for the collection system right now. Uh, it's I guess giving us information that we would have collected the conventional way, taken longer and more costly. However, nothing that we recall that's any different than what, or any unexpected, or well, maybe not unexpected because you never know what you're going to find here. But it tells us where these problems are, and it'll give us identification along each street what the defects are, and they'll be able to highlight and show us a picture of those as well as the video of the defects that
yeah.
we're seeing.
So it's actually validated our approaches of what we're doing on the new SRF project that we're doing for the collection system. So it has validated that, and it has provided insight of other areas that we need to look further into. So, like, some areas that have a lot of infiltration that, that we'll have included in that project. So,
Okay, thank you.
So any other questions or comments about the projects?
Well, you might as well wrap in the regionalization project. at
Yeah,
this
I was
point.
going to say the last item on the agenda is regionalization.
Okay.
Does, I know there's been some activity with that. Does that come up?
Actually, a little bit.
Oh.
Cohasset is been talking to us a little bit more. The sewer commissioner there has talked to me and Tom a few times in the last number of months. I think they're starting to realize that they need to do something like the regionalization plan. However, there's still not concurrence within Cohasset, and we believe that the town manager has submitted his resignation sometime in December. So that certainly doesn't help. It's just means that somebody new, but that could also help in the way that new ideas, new approaches may change things too. So we have to go through that, and but they are talking. Will continue to talk. Nothing's been closed out. They realize that their intermunicipal agreement expires in a couple of years, so that could be a pivotal point as well. So all we're looking for is the commitment to start the grant. You know, we have the grant, except it hasn't been issued until we can provide acknowledgement from each of the towns of the $100,000 share commitment. And Holland Situate will provide it, but Cohasset hasn't provided it yet. So that's what we need, and then we can tell EPA we're ready to go. In the meantime, we've had our town council review the agreement, review the RFP that we need to get out for consulting services, and we're just finishing that process up now. So you know, in a way, we haven't lost time, but you know, it's really Cohasset that has been dragging their feet, and we're hoping to get that pushed along.
So if Cohasset decides and goes in the other direction, is it still possible that the regionalization could proceed to another phase with basically with Hull and Situate?
Probably not, because Situate has to go through Cohasset, and Cohasset has said many times that they won't allow it to happen. So that's part of the problem we have with Situate coming through Cohasset. Nobody's pushed that point yet, but again, that's positioning it that, you know, I believe for Cohasset. The other player could also be Hingham. You know, they dropped out of it years ago, but they're still one of our flow constituents, and we know that at some point they're going to want to have more capacity. So we haven't approached them in recent years, but the way the grant was written, it was for Cohasset. So whether it would have to be modified or not, that's to be determined. I guess at this point, we're still expecting something to happen with Cohasset. So hopefully by the time we have next meeting, we'll have a better sense as far as what direction we're going.
Mhm.
If
And speaking of
Cohasset does
Hingham,
join us.
the project that's going on 3A that I drove by again today, yeah, it says sewer main project. Is that their connection to the MWRA on that part of town?
I don't believe so. I think it's all partly related to the road diet project that they have for Route 3A, as well as just upgrading their sewer system. Tom, do you know if that's the force main that they're replacing, or is it a gravity sewer? I thought it might be the force main. It's had a number of
But
breaks over the years.
on 3A,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
think it's the force main that goes from the pump station up to the MWRA system. So I
That's what
think
yeah.
that's what I believe, because they've had breaks there frequently, and now they're replacing it with a
So it's
Hingham
basically
polyethylene.
replacing existing
Yes,
line,
yes.
right? Okay. Any other question about regionalization or anything else from anyone?
I do have one.
Yes, go ahead, Scott.
The here on Hampton Circle, the storm sewer outflow valves have been a concern, and recently I was collared and asked about a blockage on the Moreland outflow valve that the DPW was telling someone, and I can't, it's all mother-in-law at this point, had information from the DPW that the outflow valve is missing. Do you have any, John, do you have any, or Tom?
What I know about that is, probably 20 years ago, there was a new outlet pipe installed
Mhm.
from the Moreland Ave drainage system. And what conservation required was that the pipe be split to go each direction at the end of at the outlet. And that was a way to dissipate flows and prevent erosion and washout
Okay.
along the point there. Well, that concept hasn't worked. And what it's doing is washing out the wall. There's nothing to do with us really, but it's just, just for your interested, you asked. So what we're finding is that it's compounding the problem there in creating voids under and below and behind the wall. So DPW took something off at the end. There was some type of flap gate or something that wasn't working the way it should anyway.
All right.
And but it's still not the way it should be. And I think what DPW is looking to do is just have that be a conventional outlet pipe. And what we talked about at one point was to build a splash pad at the end of that outlet pipe so that it wouldn't erode the mud flats there, and just has something to dissipate the flow and the velocity of it. So
Okay.
that's what I know about it at this point. What's happened since last week, I don't know. I haven't heard anything else.
All right. Well, thank you. Yeah, and the sewer, the question came to me because of the perception it's part of the sewer system, storm sewer.
No, people always get sewers and storm drains confused. They
Mhm.
call catch basins sewer basins. They call sewer drains or drain sewers, and I like to call it storm drain system and a sewer system.
Okay.
And
So basically, we're a
separate systems.
catch-all.
Yeah, everybody calls, not
Every-
everybody, but a lot of people call
Gravity.
it a storm
Gravity.
system.
They get it confused with a combined sewer system, combined with his,
Right.
storm drain and sewer combined, but
Or storm sewer, yeah.
yeah.
All right.
But they are two separate systems, and yeah.
Yes,
I'm only
Liz,
involved with it as my role in DPW, so.
Yeah.
And in my involvement with the Hampton Circle project, so I'm aware that that's a problem area, and
Thank
it's being looked at.
Liz, you had a question?
I just, yeah, thank you. John, I was under the, assumption that Hampton Circ, that you and Chris had received grant money for some work this coming summer to do the study of
Yes.
that area across, mostly on the marginal side. Is that not accurate? You didn't mention it in your.
No, we received another grant from.
Okay, I didn't hear
NDP.
it in your list, so I just wanted to note it, make sure
Yeah.
that it's still happening.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
great.
yeah, it's not relevant to the sewer commission meeting, but it
I
is
see what you're
relevant.
saying.
There is something, I think Chris K has been very good about putting updates on the conservation website. So if
Yeah.
anybody's interested, you could look there, and you'll see there's a story map of what the overall plan and program is for that area. And
Right.
we're advancing to the next phase of that
Right.
plan that we've been
And
talking
that's all,
about. last-
that's all storm drain.
This is like
You're
the
right.
third or fourth grant in that series, just to
Yep.
continue to advance the assessment. And what we were talking about as well is that we know it would be good if we could do some other efforts in addition to what's in the planning stage, just to start showing some improvements. In that Moreland Ave outlet was one of those items that if we could do something that just shows some immediate improvements and benefits, it would be good to do that, just to help the neighborhood.
They'd appreciate that.
So,
That was a 4-day event this week.
yeah, okay. I expected it
If
would
you-
be with those high tides.
If you want video, Chris has got it from 4 days.
I can imagine, okay.
I didn't put it in the box.
Okay. Well, thank you. Any other questions, comments? Then I
Nope.
will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Peter?
Second,
Very much for your time.
all's in favor, say aye. Raise your
Aye.
hand, whatever.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Well, thank you all, and until next time.
Okay. Bye.
It
Thank
was
you.
good to see
Thank you.
everyone.
Yeah,
Bye.
nice Thanksgiving.
Bye-bye.